This is Vanessa Ina. It's part of the Quantum Frequency Initiative. Today we're doing something a little different because I'm going to introduce you to my sister, Aleksandra Maria Ścibor Infinity, who will be interviewing me for a change. And I will get to interview her later down the track. But for today, I'm going to hand it over to you, Aleksandra.
Thank you. Well, my first kind of observation is that I would always say your name as Vanessa Ina. To me, it sounds like Ina, and now I hear you saying it Ina. It's very, very, very interesting to learn how you pronounce your name. Yes, I'm moved, elated, and honored, sister, to welcome you here in this time space reality dimension.
Thank you.
Yes, with me, and thank you so much. Thank you very, very, very much for the invitation.
Thank you for accepting it.
Yes, to this podcast, to this conversation, to this meeting.
I just say, as regards to my name, I noticed that a lot of people, especially European people, will refer to it as Ina. And the reason it's Ina to me is only because I was named after my grandmother, who always referred to herself as Ina Idealia. So Ina being her first name. So I just say it how she used to say it, because I'm named after her.
Do you happen to know the meaning of Ina?
No, actually, funny you asked that, because I haven't looked it up. I probably should do that. Thanks for the inspiration. I do know the meaning of Vanessa. So
What's the meaning of Vanessa?
it means butterfly. I can't remember what language, Greek or something, I think, which I find pretty relevant because butterflies are obviously the symbol for transformation, and I feel like my life is one constant transformation. And butterflies seem to come to me a lot. Just an ever-evolving state of transformation, I guess.
Can you elaborate a little bit on this? Can you just say how you see transformation and what's so important about transformation for you?
Okay. I knew you'd ask me questions that would get me thinking. Because I guess I've just always had this constant need, or I've always been like a seeker. I've always had this constant need or desire to become more, to know more, to be more, to understand more, to evolve, or to achieve something, which I realize now is part of my kind of purpose in being here and just part of who I am. But I've never really felt comfortable with stagnancy or sameness. I always wanted change and difference and to evolve within myself. It's kind of that dynamic fluidity, I guess.
And the very more, what is the very more for you? More in the sense of, because this world tends to be in love with more. And I wonder what more is for you in the sense of transformation, in the sense of you being a seeker.
I guess it's, I get what you're asking. That's a good question. I think it's more of understanding who I am, more of becoming my completeness, more of remembering me, being whole. That kind of drive for self-awareness, for coming back home and remembering and unifying myself with my, the veil that we come in here, the forgetfulness, but remembering and becoming more complete. I guess it's more that kind of more, not more as in more stuff or more things within the physical reality, but more of me.
And this forgetfulness, I guess this is kind of, it seems to me interesting, the forgetfulness in your life. Can you kind of can you see how it manifested or how it has manifested, the forgetfulness? Like in what forms? How is the forgetfulness throughout your life? And how has it motivated you to remember? Like, or maybe where does this desire to remember come from?
There's lots in those questions. Okay. So the forgetfulness has manifested in a lack of understanding, a lack of self-love, and I guess the remembrance of me as a divine being. And so how this is manifested is in a life of kind of like going through life with low self-worth and all of the consequences that have come about from that. And what was the other thing you said? There's lots in that. I could give you heaps of examples of that. Which is probably the root cause of a lot of the trauma I went through in life, because I did have, as a child, I had a very big understanding of there was a purpose, there was a reason that I was here. I didn't really understand it fully because I was a child, but I sought advice from the adults around me, and much to my dismay, really, because none of them could quite assist me in this, because I think they were still all in a state of forgetfulness themselves and hadn't remembered their own divinity. So they weren't really able to help me much with me remembering mine. And in fact, it was kind of the opposite. So growing up in a situation that continued to sort of provide me with reasons of why I was unworthy or worthless or unlovable were created patterns, I guess, where I went on in life to manifest sort of situations that were quite traumatic. And all of that was because of, like, as I've realized, it's a remembrance because I went through a lot of years trying to learn things and have got to a point now where I realize that it's not actually that I needed to learn. It's not that actually I needed to learn, I just needed to remember, because I'd forgotten. I'd had been programmed into a different way of being, and I've had to unprogram, uncage, remember, and accept and allow that sort of authentic trueness, or that divinity that is the greater me, not the story of little Nessie. Does that make sense? Does that answer you?
Yeah, obviously it does. I mean, it's your life. But yes, coming back for a moment to this remembering, to the process of remembrance. I wonder how you define for yourself remembering.
How I define
How
it.
define in the sense of how you sense it, how you experience remembering.
Okay. Really, I guess through a feeling inside of me, a feeling and awareness, a connective kind of consciousness that is it's like a knowing that sort of exists within me.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it within you?
Kind of here somewhere. It's in here. It's just in me. It's like everywhere. And actually, on this note, I was realizing just the other day that I went from a situation where I was asking for my highest self, or my divine omnipresent self, or whatever you want to call it, into my presence, into my awareness, and then already is present. I think that's another remembrance. See, there's an example of a remembrance, because I felt within me the presence of my highest self within my body, within my cells, within the infinite space between them as well. And so in that moment, I remembered there's another remembrance that I already am. I don't need to draw me in or command me from any kind of external place, or command the awareness of me in that sense. So
I guess this is crucial. I guess this is crucial for the whole world and maybe many other worlds. I would be really really curious and happy if you could say something more about this, the highest, the divine as you, in the sense of no need to call it from above, no need to call it from the external. I guess this is one of the misconceived, manipulative, limiting, and breaching concepts. It's like self-hurt.
Yeah, well, okay, I can say more on that. I kind of came
Of
from a place of calling it
the
in.
omnipresent perspective. Sorry?
Yeah. Oh, you kind of cut out on me a little bit, but I think I get what you were saying.
Yeah, I was talking about the omnipresent perspective of connecting into the highest self, which is out of you, which is the external, which is somewhere above the direction.
Yeah, somewhere out there or up there. Yeah, and of course, being brought up with religion did create this kind of awareness of an external God self, that God, well, not even God self, God is a completely separate entity, actually. So it's been a process in my life to go from God as an external entity that I had to beg, crawl, and do everything humanly possible and still probably never be good enough to attain his acceptance or love, to a point of going, hang on a minute, I can call in an aspect, or that I'm an aspect of God, and then to be able to call an aspect of God and still feel it external and still want to call it in from above, to becoming to a point where realizing that the omnipresent God is in all things, including every aspect of me, and not something that's external and outside of me. It's been a big journey to get to that point. But there's a wholeness and a bigger completeness within it. There's less limitation, and it's a far more expansive view, and it feels more, I feel more connected with other things and people and beings around me because of it, because I can see them or accept or understand them as part of God also.